Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if
a bus
he owns
driver?
the bus?
What? Welcome to Bus Driver Life. I am a bus driver. I've driven school buses, but I currently drive public transit buses in Sacramento, California. And according to this woman right here, I'm mediocre because I'm a man that drives a bus. So on this channel, we don't really talk about dating and relationships because that's not what it's about. But this particular dating and relationship segment relates directly to bus drivers. And we were talking about the bus driver life, so let's talk about it.
No, God, please, no!
So let's take a look at the clip that I'm referring to.
How women need to, I don't know, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus.
So that's right, ladies and gentlemen, or specifically gentlemen. You have to own the bus if you want to have a chance for her. Driving the bus is beneath her. This happened about a week ago or so, and she did get backlash, a little bit of backlash for her comment. Some people agreed with her, but her response to the backlash was she is never going to settle for average or mediocrity. So if you're a guy that drives a bus, you're average, which average technically isn't bad because everyone's not going to be rich or a millionaire or in the upper six figures, you know, 900K, 800K. So you can't hold everybody to the standards of just a few people, a small amount, a small percentage of people. But seriously though, listen, no human being should be forced to date anyone that they don't want to date. People have preferences. There's certain things that people like, certain things that people don't like, and it's different for everybody. So there's no shame directed towards her because she doesn't want to date a bus driver.
He ain't lying.
Let's get a little bit of background about who Eboni Williams is, because I was not familiar with her even though she is a celebrity. So she is an American lawyer and a television host. In October 2020, she was cast in The Real Housewives of New York City for its 13th season. So yeah, she's a lawyer and she's been on TV, so she makes more money than the average bus driver, more than likely. So for her, I'm pretty sure any man that makes less money than her or has a job that's not as glamorous or prestigious or viewed as prestigious or important, that's not going to be something that she's going to be interested in. And personally, nobody should force her to be interested in that.
He ain't lying.
So here's the issue though. She was speaking about dating and relationships between men and women, and I think more specifically, she was talking about black men and black women. And she's basically saying that black women don't have a lot of good choices when it comes to dating black men because we choose mediocre and low-class jobs like, for example, driving a bus. And of course, her response to her not wanting to date a bus driver was that she will never settle for average. She's not going to settle for mediocrity. That's just beneath her. And I don't think anyone should settle for mediocrity, especially. I get that. But it's interesting that us guys that are bus drivers are considered to someone of her status as mediocre. And again, she's saying that the ladies don't have a lot of good choices out here. They're trying to find good men, but they can't because we got these bus drivers running around stinking up the place. But the thing that I find interesting is, while she's kind of throwing some shade at the men, like, hey, you need to step your game up. You're a bus driver and you're trying to step to me. You're trying to date me. You want to marry me and you drive the bus. You don't own it. My question is, if she's speaking on behalf of the ladies, what about the ladies that drive buses? I found an interesting stat that says 49.7% of bus drivers are female in the United States. That's almost half. That's pretty much half. So the women who drive buses, are they also mediocre? Are they also not deserving of a good partner in life? Are they also low class? Are they just average and kind of nobodies? They're unsuccessful. They need to do more with their life. They shouldn't be trying to date anyone because they're bus drivers. And I'm only bringing up the women because she said the men are mediocre and she'll never settle for a man that works a job like a bus driver, which could also apply to just about any blue collar job, which, side note, contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of blue collar jobs that pay pretty well, even 6 figures, including bus drivers. And we're going to talk more about that a little later on. But I just want to know, are the women also mediocre? I don't think so, just like I don't think the men are mediocre that drive buses or do other service jobs that would be considered blue collar. Like for instance, check out this woman here who I plan on doing a full video on. This is Mary Wallace. She was the first female bus driver for Chicago Transit Authority in 1974. I'm sorry, but she's not mediocre. She's not low class. She's not unsuccessful. She made history as a bus driver. This is more recent. This is April 3rd, 2023. And let's take a look at this amazing woman. This is a Miami-Dade transit bus operator. Her name is Talissa Ruan. If I said her name wrong, I do apologize. And she's the first woman ever to win first place overall in the 2023 bus rodeo. And that's a really difficult skills course that bus drivers have to make it through. It's timed and it's not easy. It's very intense. And she beat everybody. So is she mediocre because she's a bus driver?
No. No, 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 no.
Now let's take a look at what a bus driver can actually make, and I'm going to talk specifically about transit bus drivers, because Eboni Williams is not the only individual that has this impression that bus drivers are losers. It's a loser job. It's a job for underachievers. That's not true, actually. You can make a pretty decent salary at a lot of bus companies. Not all of them, because they don't all pay well. You have to research and really figure out who pays a good salary and then make your decision, and you might have to relocate depending on where you live. But there's a lot of places that have excellent benefits and excellent salaries. For instance, Chicago, Illinois, CTA. You reach top pay in 33 months, $38.66 per hour. That's about $80,000 a year. And that's before overtime. If you work overtime, you're gonna easily hit $100K a year. Driving a city bus. That does not sound like mediocre pay to me. Now, that's not rich. And of course, that amount of money is not gonna impress someone like Eboni Williams, and I don't expect it to. And I don't expect her to be like, okay, I'll date a bus driver, I'll give it a try. No, that's not what I'm trying to prove here. But I'm just trying to make the point that being a bus driver can be a respectable job, career that someone can have and they can take care of their family. Let's go to Los Angeles. After 5 years, you can make $42.57 per hour. So you're looking like around $87,000, $88,000 per year, and that's before overtime. Once you work overtime, you're well over $100,000 a year. Now, the cost of living is kind of ridiculous in Los Angeles.
He ain't lying.
But still, you can clear that $100K mark easily by working some overtime. And that's kind of the bread and butter. That's kind of the secret. It's not really a secret, but that's how you can definitely make a lot more money, because the nature of public transit allows there to be a lot of overtime available. Some transit agencies, the overtime is mandatory. Some places it's voluntary. Now again, this type of money is not going to impress someone like Eboni Williams because she's a celebrity and I assume she makes a lot of money. However, this is not a loser job or a mediocre job. Like, you can't tell me that 80, 90, 100K is mediocre, even 60, 70K. So if a man chooses a job where he's going to make between 60 to 100K, if that's mediocre, then sheesh, we are in trouble.
He ain't lying.
So in conclusion, am I upset at Eboni Williams? No, I'm not. She has accomplished a lot in her life and she is entitled to her preferences, just like I'm entitled to my preferences when it comes to dating, relationships, and marriage. But the issue that some people took was that you're taking someone that's a hardworking person just because they have a normal blue-collar job that's not glamorous, and you basically said, that's beneath me, and women don't have any good prospects, any good men to choose from because these men are working normal jobs. You don't have to date a man with a normal job. You're not wrong for wanting a man that's a millionaire, but when you completely belittle and kind of dismiss guys that have normal jobs, and then when you think about it, specifically when we're talking about being a bus driver, it's not just men that work these jobs. There's women as well that work these jobs, and they're doing great. They're thriving and they're successful. It's kind of weird to take this group of people, bus drivers and other blue-collar workers, and say, y'all are mediocre. you guys are not successful. That's not good enough. That's just kind of interesting, you know? So those are my thoughts on this situation. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, and thank you for watching Bus Driver Life.